Hello everyone, and welcome back to positionspecific.com, and welcome to another promotional video for our latest book. This is a follow-up to our Defensive Midfielder in Possession book that we brought out earlier this year. This book will focus on the out of possession responsibilities of a defensive midfielder and is again aimed at the professional phase. The Defensive Midfielder in Possession book was really popular, so we hope you appreciate this out of possession version. All of our books, including this one, can be downloaded from www.positionspecific.com. With all of our books, we look to give you an insight and introduction onto each focus position and try to help you understand what it takes to play in such an important role in the team, especially the defensive midfielder. Again, like our other publications we have produced, there is similar information, especially around session design, but in this book, we have added a case study around N'Golo Kanté, as we believe he is one of the best in the world in his position, especially when talking about out of possession. We have also added an interesting section on positioning, which we'll look at in a minute, as well as the usual and most popular 12 practices in 4 full training sessions using our position-specific tool and working through the technique, skill and game practice framework. So let's have a look at the positioning content. In this section, we will cover 4 different ways of how a defensive midfielder can operate out of possession. They are: number 1, shifting to a man-to-man system in midfield. Number 2, screening and covering the centre-backs. Number 3, covering wide areas. And number 4, defending the box and filling vital areas. All this positioning work is also reflected in the practices we've designed later in the book. But let's go through each scenario now. Quick coach's tip before we do. Before you read each scenario, ask yourself this question: why and when would you change how your defensive midfielder operates? So if we were going to change to a man-to-man system, we would consider the next 4 things. We have a +1 overload on our centre-backs, as shown in the picture. The opposition's midfielder dominating possession. We have a better all-round midfield than our opposition, or we're chasing the game and need to win back possession quickly. So that's why we'd maybe go to a man-to-man system. If we were looking to screen and cover, we'd consider these 3 things. The opposition are playing with 2 centre forwards, so we might need to use our defensive midfielder as a +1. The opposition's game strategy is to play through central areas. This can be direct or short build-up play, so they might look to play straight into their centre forwards. And the opposition like to counter-attack from deep while leaving high forwards up the pitch. Again, looking at a +1 scenario. We might consider covering in wide areas as a defensive midfielder, and if we were, these are the 4 things we'd think about. We would operate with 2 defensive midfielders if we were looking to cover wide areas. The opposition's wide forwards or full-backs are a real danger, and we don't want any 2v1 scenarios down the sides. Our centre-backs are comfortable in 1v1 duels in wide areas, so we might help out if there's a long ball into the channel. Our game strategy is to leave forwards high up the pitch and look to counter-attack. So we'd kind of sacrifice our forwards, leave them high up the pitch, and our DMs would look to cover up. And finally, defending the box. For us, this is a vital part of the defensive midfielder when defending. Tracking runs, filling key areas, and having the ability to clear the ball cleanly can be the difference between an average or a great defensive midfielder. But a couple of things to consider in this scenario. If the opposition are playing with an advanced cam, they must track, see the ball, and see the danger. If the opposition are playing with 2 forwards, they must fill the gaps between or down the sides of the centre-backs, so they can see the ball and see the unit. Really, really important that a defensive midfielder has these types of things available to them. So let's go back to the home page and have a quick look at the sessions. Session 1 is a defensive midfielder defending carousel and has 3 practices. It has a 1v1 game, a 1v1/1v2 technical practice, and a 5v5 practice. Remember, each practice has a link to our animated session on our YouTube channel and can be accessed via the link button at the bottom of each picture. Session 1, Practice 1, is a man-to-man 1v1 duel game. The setup is as shown in the video. Each player on the pitch is matched up with a player on the opposite team apart from the goalkeepers. 1v1 duels within a normal game, the players can deny, block, and intercept any player on the pitch, but they can only tackle their direct opponent. Remember, always looking to try and encourage the players to work through the individual process of scan, move, dictate, and defend. Session 1, Practice 2, is a 1v1/1v2 technical practice. The area is as shown in the video, but can be adjusted depending on the age group. This session requires 4 players in total, with 3 attackers and 1 defensive midfielder. Each red attacker will try to dribble across the bottom line of the contact box where the defensive midfielder starts to win a point. The white defensive midfielder will try to force a mistake to prevent the attackers from crossing the line. If the white defensive midfielder wins possession, they can look to play a pass into one of the other red attackers or dribble through the spare gate. The progression to this practice is to allow the red attackers to work together to create a 1v2 scenario. Session 1, Practice 3, is a 5v5 game practice. This practice requires 10 players split into 2 teams of 5, including 2 GKs. And as you can see from the video, the pitch is split up into 9 small boxes. This practice has normal game rules, and 1 point is available for each goal that is scored. Individual points can also be gained for attacking and defending well in each square of the pitch. Attackers score individual points by dribbling across the top line of the square or in the attacking direction of their team. And the defenders can gain a point by preventing the attackers from progressing across the top line or the inside line and effectively forcing them backwards towards their own goal. Make sure the players take ownership of their individual points and scores are combined at the end of the game. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we hope it has got you thinking about the defensive midfielder position and how our book could benefit you and your players. As I mentioned before, the book is available from our website www.positionspecific.com with all our other publications. If you like our content, please leave a comment in the section below and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the subscribe button.